Hello and welcome to Artist Gang Tuesday with Donna Downey Studios. My name is Nicole Watson and today I'm tackling that scary first page in my art journal using Donna's Create Truth stencil. I began by using the bits and pieces of ephemera that were on my table from the previous projects that I'd been working on, and also cut a butterfly from printed tissue. I adhered all of it to my journal page with gel medium. When I was looking through my stencils for this week's tutorial, this one stuck out to me as perfect for this front page of my art journal. Usually I don't tackle this first page right away, I wait till the end. It's often the last page I finish in my book, but I thought this stencil was perfect, and my idea was to use the ephemera, the images, the colors, the marks, and the different mediums that had really been speaking to me over the past few weeks, and combine that with a whole combination of just different techniques and things I'd been exploring in my tutorials. So you'll see some of the same things I've been doing, but kind of combined in a different way. And I think what I'll end up doing is also doing a similar page at the end of this art journal that will kind of show the other half of my art journey. So here I'm putting that butterfly on that I spoke about. I cut it from the Tim Holtz tissue paper and wrapped it around the other side, and I'll use it on a future spread. Then I spread clear gesso over this whole page to kind of keep the integrity of that paper, especially that ledger paper, so that it didn't smear. And then I put down my stencil so that I could see where I wanted to make my first marks, which were these circles, which I know you've seen several times in my artwork before. I made the circles with my Stabilo all pencil and then activated it with my paintbrush and water. Next I picked up this buff paint for the center of my circles to kind of tone it down, help spread out that Stabilo all, make it a little bit more grungy, and just add a little bit more interest and contrast on the inside of those circles. I tilted my journal, let the pages drip, and also let the Stabilo spread. Then I began adding color to my page with these 3 acrylic colors from Dina Wakley. I watered them down pretty good so that they'd give like a watercolor look for my first layer, and chose 3 colors that when they blended and met, they would create a nice color and not mud. So for instance, the blue and the purpley color blend together to make another purple, and the red and the orange blend together to make a red-orange, obviously. It helps to know the color wheel and what colors blend together when you're picking colors like this, and it's a lot of trial and error too. So I'm just playing with these colors here, and then I let them dry and used a hairdryer to speed up the process, and then I added another layer of paint with my palette knife. So I have one kind of transparent layer and then a thicker layer on top to add some interest. Next I grabbed this Donna Downey stencil, which I actually forgot to include in my supplies, and sprayed through it 3 times with this marabou spray. You'll notice that I do a lot of things in 3s. I like odd numbers, and I think it also helps kind of move someone's eye around the page. You move from one object to the next, and it creates movement and kind of, for me, a harmonious kind of look to my page. So you'll notice I have the 3 dot bags, the 3 stencils, the 3 circles, and you'll see some more 3s coming up. Then I took my Stabilo and made some more marks and circles and activated again because the color had kind of become muddled from all the paint, and dripped and spread that Stabilo until I was happy with how it looked. And then my butterfly also had become muddled. So I grabbed the Stabilo and traced around it and activated it with my paintbrush to kind of bring that butterfly back out. I also pick up my graphic Stabilo pencil to add more sketchy lines to my circles and to the butterfly. Once I'm done with that, then I pick up the stencil that's going to be my main image to see where it's going to be on the page before I draw in my next little leaves that are another symbol or image that's been speaking to me in my artwork. So I grab my charcoal pencil to sketch these leaves in, knowing that charcoal I can erase if I'm not happy with how the leaves look, and you'll see me do that in a minute with the baby wipe. And I draw the first leaf, and then I check it again, draw the second leaf, decided I didn't like the 3 and just wanted one little leaf top to that, traced it around with my Stabilos to make them permanent, and then activated them again with my paintbrush and water. I wanted to add just a touch of a contrasting color inside my leaves, so I picked up this olive color and didn't make it too dark, just added a little highlights in certain spots of the leaves, let it blend with that wet stabilo to give it kind of a watercolory, just kind of sort of there look. I also decided to add that same color to the butterfly that brings the eye to the other side of the page and adds that color in 3 places like I had talked about. At this point, that left cover of my journal was looking pretty boring and I had the overspray from the stencil, so I decided to take the paint and kind of drip it down to move my front page to that left and create a little bit more interest. I just dripped water down, used the leftover paint from my palette, sprayed water, and let the colors blend until I was happy with how it looked. Later on, I do add a little saying from Dina Wakley's collage pack and a sticker, and I didn't do that on camera, but you'll see that in the end. So my next layers are a little bit more intense with some wiping, so I wanted to grab that pastel fixative and fix my pages before I moved on to adding my molding paste through the stencil. So I grabbed my stencil and the molding paste and just spread it evenly through the stencil, kind of like you're frosting a cake. When I had it even, I lifted it up, checked it, fixed a little area when I put my stencil back down, and it looked great, and then I waited for it to dry before moving on to my next step. After several hours, I was ready to glaze my molding paste. I grabbed Night by Dina Wakley and some glazing medium, about 75% medium to 25% paint. Spread it all over only the areas of the molding paste. Basically what I wanted to do was make the sides turn color and kind of puddle around the sides of that molding paste so that the image looked like it was kind of embedded into the page a little bit, maybe kind of soldered on. And then I let it dry for about a minute, took my baby wipe and mainly just wiped off the top of my stenciled area there and kept that really puddled Night in the cracks and crevices and also around the edges. After I wiped it off, I noticed that there were some places that didn't get the Night on them, so I took a paintbrush and just touched up those areas that had the stark white. Also used my finger to touch that up as well. Next, I grabbed my pan pastels to color just the top of that image. I colored the words in copper, and then once I was done with that, I grabbed my tray of different blues and purples and did a mixture of blues and purples in that scroll image, and then added a little bit of copper highlights. When I was finished, I sprayed 2 layers of the Spectra Fix pastel fixative to the page and let it dry. Then I picked up my Stabilo All pencil again to bring back those black lines on the circles and the butterfly, and instead of drawing it onto the page dry, I dipped it in some water and made the lead get a little wet. I guess it's not lead, whatever the medium is. Let it get wet, and with that wet pencil tip, I drew on my page to make that line a little darker. And it looks really dark right now, but it does dry a little bit more transparent and kind of blends into the page better. And this helped bring those lines back out that had kind of disappeared from all the different layers. I also grabbed the graphite version and just did some more sketchy circles around the leaf and the circles. And then I grabbed my Bombay ink to add some ink splatters and wiped away ones I wasn't happy with, looked at the page and decided it looked complete. Until I looked at it later and decided I needed some words on that left side, and you'll see those here in the pictures. I hope this tutorial encourages you to tackle that first page in your art journal. When you do, be sure to share it in the Donna Downey Community of Artists Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching.